Have you ever tackled a home improvement project just to end up discouraged? Well, I just got discouraged. And you're not alone, but I'll share some tips and tricks on re-grouting your tile, and hang on towards the end where I'm going to show my biggest mistake with re-grouting my tile.
We recently bought this one owner 1961 mid-century ranch, and the bathtub area was a little worn out. Missing grout, stained grout, bad caulking, leaky faucets, messed up shower diverter. It was time to do a little refresh, but the problem is this is our only bathtub for a family of 6. I know, that's pretty wild. We recently had an opportunity to have a staycation at a local resort, and my wife had the last-minute idea that I should re-grout the shower walls while we stay at the resort. This way, I could take my time, and the grout application will have adequate time to dry. So this ended up being a hasty decision. I really only had an afternoon to prepare for this. So let's go to my favorite place. First thing I always do when I enter Lowe's is check out the back aisle for any clearance items that I could use for my project, but today there wasn't anything useful. I picked up a couple tools and considered a multi-tool blade, but the only one my local Lowe's had in stock was $40, and I believe it was too thick. My grout lines are pretty tight. They're like 1/16 inch, and the handheld grout saw was too thick. The multi-tool blade I had was too thick, so I used this hand scraper with the triangle carbide blade. The tool works really well at scraping loose grout, but fails to get deep between the tiles. It scrapes off enough for a re-grout, essentially good enough to overlay new grout on top of the old. Some tips for using this tool. First, I went from top to bottom on the grout lines, and when I finished a wall, I then went left to right, or right to left. You have to be careful with this tool. It can chip your tiles. That can happen easily if you are going too fast in a grout line and hit the next tile, especially if the tiles are not very straight. I may have nicked a couple tiles.
Don't tell my wife.
Now, I said this was a hasty decision. My plan was to replace some damaged tiles with new old stock salt and pepper tiles sourced from like eBay. There used to be a shower door, and you can see the holes from where it was mounted. I also want to remove these grab bars. In all, I need at least 10 new old stock tiles, but for now, I will just grout over these holes and work around the grab bars. I removed the faucet knobs and the spout. Spout is getting replaced because it doesn't divert water to the shower head very well. I will also be replacing the stem valves in the faucet. There is a slight leak in this area that runs along the side of the tub and into the floor. So this is a long overdue project. Once all the hardware is removed, I can then scrape the grout lines in this area. Scraping the grout from between the tiles took about an hour to an hour and a half, and it was then time to get everything cleaned up and ready for the new grout. Cutting out the old silicone was a pain. This stuff was hard as a rock. In some areas it was loose, and in others it didn't want to let go. Careful scraping with a putty knife and a razor blade did the trick to remove all the old sealant. After removing everything that I could, I was ready to clean and vacuum the area. I went with Maupay Avalanche White. I mixed up a small batch and got to work. With this grout, you have to work fast because it sets up pretty quick. I worked in all the nooks and crannies, working in maybe a 2-foot by 2-foot section, then sponging away the excess. Of course, I had to leave the corners open because that will be siliconed. I came back the next day to work on the shower valves and silicone the corners. To have a smear-free finish, apply a bead of silicone to the joint, spray a soapy water or clear Windex, and then tool it smooth. I didn't have a tool for that, so I had to go to the freezer and eat a popsicle so I could use the edge of the stick to tool the silicone with a nice radius. Got it looking real nice. I then installed a new spout and found the correct stem valves for the faucet.
Well, if you look closely, we have stains coming through our new grout. And lots of stains. I mean, look at it right there, right here. And this was like a day or two after re-grouting, before we even took a shower or used it. Look down, there's another stain right there. And all these stains, look how yellow and gross it is. And it's literally all over the place. I mean, you can sit here and look closely, you can see it everywhere. So what went wrong? I imagine this could happen with any color grout, but is definitely more noticeable with a light color like I had used. I also didn't cut out all the old grout. So like a week after I did this project, I had found a Dremel brand grout tool that was 1/16 inch thick. So that probably would have worked on a lot of my grout joints where I could have cut out all that old grout. Something else I probably could have done to prevent this was all of the grout that I wasn't able to get out, if I would have like bleached it or sealed it, something, just to keep that stain from bleeding through. So what do you think I should have done differently? Comment below how you've dealt with stains that bled through. Did I use the wrong grout? Did I not seal it, or should I just removed all the old grout? I'll probably end up just fixing this at a later time when I find those new old stock tiles to replace the old ones with the holes in them. I also have the rest of the bathroom to do. I only did the shower area because that was the most critical area at this point with all the gaps in the grout. I didn't want water getting behind the wall. So hopefully my DIY fail will help you with your grout project. Thanks for watching, and tell your house I said hi.